Part 13. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 122. Old Monster. Lu Rang felt inexplicably strange, but he was too lazy to explain more and said, "Since you think I am an old-timer, then I will teach this kid how to behave." "What, are you not convinced?" Hearing this, the two old immortals were speechless. This place is a place jointly protected by the four major alliances. You use the big one to bully the small ones and attack the younger ones. You will be responsible for all the consequences. They threatened coldly. Stop competing. If you have the ability, give it a try. If you don't, get out. Lu Rang was very disdainful. From beginning to end, these people insulted both of them again and again, and they were not clay men either. Very good. The two old immortals didn't dare to take action at all, so they turned and left. "And you kid, you are really a bitch." Lu Rang turned and looked at Xuanhuan. Now that he has taken action, he is ready to beat him hard and let the other party know what cruelty is. "You, what do you want to do?" "I am a member of the Xuanmu family. If you dare to attack me, the immortals in my clan will never let you go." Xuanhuang's face suddenly turned very ugly. He didn't expect that these two people who looked like country bumpkins were actually old monsters. "The key is, now you are offended to death." "Xuanmu's family? Heavenly immortal." Lu Rang said, "Your grandfather is not afraid even if the golden immortal is here." After saying that, he slapped him out. "Ah!" Xuanmu Yang suddenly flew out miserably. Bang! He hit the ground so hard that dozens of ribs were broken. Everyone had complicated expressions. This lord is too bold and arrogant. Although he is an older generation, you must know that the Xuanmu family is a family of immortals. Who would dare to mess with ordinary people? Not to mention, he also beat the grandson of Ning Tianhao, the leader of the Earth and Wind Alliance. Your Excellency, our Xuanmu family will remember it." The two old immortals who had been guarding Xuanmu Yang were also frightened and angry. However, they also did not dare to take action. Instead, they hurriedly helped Xuanhuang up and fed him the elixir. Suddenly, Xuanhuang's breath slowly recovered. On the other side, Ning Xuanhuan was also helped up and was also recovering from his injuries. "Whoever is not convinced, just try again." Lu Rang was very direct. Everyone present frowned and did not dare to say anything. Are you two old monsters?" Xia Yao, who had been following them, was also asking questions in a daze at this moment. When Lu Rang heard this, he immediately said, "Miss Xia Yao, don't get me wrong, we are not old monsters, we are all young descendants of Xuanhuan." Vomit. Xia Yao made a face at him. However, besides Xia Yao, Qing Lan had a look of thought in her beautiful eyes. "Senior Huang Tianzhouji is here." At this time, a loud shout came. Everyone looked sideways and saw Ji Yuanqing and a group of old men approaching. Among them are Yin Yuanchen, the leader of the Dark Moon sect, and some old immortals from the four major alliances. "Is everyone here?" Ji Yuanqing asked. Everyone is here, we can start now." An old immortal came forward and continued, "However, someone is causing trouble in the field." He pointed at Lu Rang and said, "This person pretended to have entered the realm of true immortals, but pretended to be a younger generation. He made trouble here and beat Ning Xuanhuan and Xuanmu Yang successively." Hearing this, several old immortals immediately looked at Lu Rang. They all looked very unkind. "What do you mean, Your Excellency? As a member of the older generation, do you want to attack the descendants of my Xuanmu family and bully the younger ones?" An old Xianxian from the Xuanmu family immediately stepped forward. Lu Rang said loudly, "Don't always slander others. I am only 21 years old this year, and I am still planning to ask for a wife. I am an old monster and an older generation. How can I still hang out in the future? How can you compensate for ruining my reputation? Shameless. Absolutely disgusting. Everyone was speechless. How arrogant, do you think my Duanmu family has no one? Old Xianxian of the Duanmu family is about to step forward to fight. However, at this time Ji Yuanqing frowned and said, "Everyone, this is not the right place to take action. In addition, don't forget Xiantian Prefecture's decree, peace is the most important thing." Hearing this, the expression of old Xianxian from the Duanmu family changed. The more powerful the cultivator is, the more he is afraid of Xuanhuan Zhou's decree and dare not go beyond it. Old Xianxian said in a deep voice. He provoked my Duanmu family. Ji Yuanqing said, "No matter what, don't start a dispute here." After speaking, he looked at Lu Rang again and said, "Well, since he considers himself a younger generation, let him step forward and sit on the bone chair in front of him." Hearing this, everyone was stunned. Haha, if an older person sits on it, he will definitely die. Even the heavenly immortals have died a few times, but a mere true immortal can only die. Senior G, this is a good idea. If you want to pretend to be a younger generation, then you must bear the consequences. Everyone was sarcastic. Many old immortals from the four major alliances also spoke one after another. If you want to pretend to be a younger generation, just sit on it and take a look. Please give it a try. As long as your excellency can get off the bone chair alive, we will forget the blame. Otherwise, if your excellency provokes you, don't blame us for taking action. They are full of threats. Lu Rang was also startled for a moment and looked forward. I saw a terrifying barrier ahead. Outside the barrier, there is a bone table and two bone chairs. The bone table is filled with chess pieces. Is this bone chair so evil? He immediately stepped forward and sat down without any hesitation. Court death. He will perish instantly. Everyone shouted coldly, waiting to see the scene of Lu Rang's death. However, a second passed. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. Lu Rang is still doing well. What? Is this chair scary? Why didn't I, an old man, have no bones left? Lu Rang sneered. Seeing this scene, everyone present was dumbfounded. It shouldn't be, countless people from the four major alliances have tried it. If you are over 40 years old and sit on it, you will definitely die. Could it be that the rules that the four major alliances tried with human lives are wrong? Impossible, the four major alliances can never be wrong. Everyone was very shocked. The old Xianxian of the Duanmu family was even more shocked at this moment and said, "This person is really under 40 years old." Under 40. As soon as this statement came out, everyone was even more shocked. What? A true immortal under the age of 40? Is this going against heaven? Impossible. Even within the four major alliances, no one can do this. It's rare to see someone under the age of 40 break through to the realm of a true immortal, right? Everyone exclaimed. Under the age of 40, becoming a true immortal, this is simply unbelievable. Monster, genius, unparalleled genius. The people present this time are truly talented people from all the states in the heaven, but now compared with Lu Rang, they are really like ants. What a strong qualification, what a strong qualification. Even Ji Yuanqing shouted loudly. Beside him, Yin Yuanshan, the leader of the Dark Moon sect with a sinister expression, suddenly flashed a scarlet light in his pupils, but no one saw it. Among the crowd, a young man also looked very gloomy at the moment. He is none other than Xiaoyan from Qinjian City in Huangtian State. At this moment, when he saw Lu Rang, his eyes were full of hostility. Boy, even in the realm of immortals, those under the age of 40 who are called true immortals are considered rare geniuses. You have an enemy in this world. Within the body, the voice of the first immortal general came out coldly. I am the real protagonist, right, Mr. Yang? You will help me to kill him. Xuanhuan spoke in a low voice. Don't worry, if you get the things here, let alone him, even the strongest genius in the fairyland will not be able to do anything to you. Yang Michan spoke calmly. Everyone in the field looked at Lu Rang in shock, and all the contempt and disdain they felt just now were wiped away. It turns out that this is really a genius, not an old monster. You are really under 40. Xia Yao's little mouth is so wide that she can put an egg in it. To be so evil, he must come from some ancient hidden family. Kinglan's beautiful eyes were filled with shock, and at the same time, she subconsciously looked at Tugu Yuking. Lu Rang is so amazing, where is Tugu Yuking? Wouldn't he be the same outstanding genius? Lu Rang looked at everyone's expressions and felt a burst of satisfaction on his face. He said to the heavens that he finally felt a little sense of accomplishment. When I was in the village, my cultivation was the worst among all my brothers. I felt so inferior. If these people were to know that their most powerful senior sister had already broken through to the realm of immortals, the whole world would probably be shocked. He was immersed in this sense of vanity for a second, and then said, Ahem, actually, I'm just a bad student. In our village, I'm the worst one. Everyone's expressions were complicated when they heard this, and they were so speechless that they almost wanted to bleed. This is too pretentious. He is already a peerless genius, yet he is pretending to be humble here. If these are the most rubbish, what do the geniuses of the major leagues count? Can it still be considered a human being? Lu Rang took the opportunity to continue. Ahem, by the way, saints and saints from the major alliances, do you have any special hobbies? His eyes kept scanning and fell on a saint. His eyes shone and he said, Girl, I think you are beautiful. How about you come back to the village with me and become a cook? The saintly girl immediately frowned and scolded, Invisible prodigal. Forget it if you don't go. Lu Rang simply said loudly, Our village is recruiting people. We are going to take people back to the village to raise pigs and herd cattle. Is there anyone who is willing? Sign up. We will not wait if the time comes. Before Master left, he told himself to find some disciples outside. So, he is looking for candidates. However, the many talented leaders present had ugly expressions. It's so deceiving. What do you think we are? Are you casually insulting us? Do you really think that because you are a genius, you can humiliate us like this and ignore us? Everyone is angry. Enough. At this time, the old Xianxian of the Duanmu family couldn't help but scold him. Even though he is a genius, his arrogance is simply too much. Lu Rang looked at Ji Yuanqing and others and said, Just now, you all called me an old monster. Now, you have nothing to say, right? Old Xianxian of the Duanmu family was at a loss for words. Ji Yuanqing took a deep breath and said, Now, please come forward and break the formation. According to the ancestral records of my Ji family, there are 9 terrifying chess games left here by our predecessors. Only the younger generation who are destined to break them can break them, and only after they are broken can they enter. The news of the opening of the immortal burial mountain range was spread to various states by Ji Yuanqing. Moreover, the Ji family has in-depth research on this place. Therefore, Ji Yuanqing has a very high say in this place and is respected by all 4 major alliances. Hearing this, thousands of young people in the field immediately stepped forward. The moment they stepped forward, one after another identical bone chess games suddenly appeared outside the barrier. Everyone faces the same chess game. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 123. Breaking the formation has begun. The proud men of heaven from hundreds of states and major alliances all stepped forward. Before the barrier, thousands of identical chess games appeared. Everyone stepped forward and sat on the bone chair nervously. Soon, the scene fell into silence. Everyone is thinking. But, soon, many people left. Because if you are not good at chess, you cannot play at all. The chess game before this barrier was very complicated. It's too scary. This chess game isn't a chess game at all. I clearly feel that these are two terrifying armies fighting against each other, and life and death depend on a thin line. A rather elegant young man spoke. He was the genius Lu Xing from the Earth-UN Alliance, known as the Little Chess Sage. This chess game is too difficult. It contains hundreds of terrifying formations. I'm afraid no one of the younger generation can break it. A woman spoke and sighed deeply. She came from the Xuanhuan sect in the Xuanhuan realm, and she had studied the chess tactics very thoroughly. Therefore, she could see at a glance that between the chess games, not only the chess games, but also the terrifying formations were there, intertwined. In the field, all the young people who understand the chess game are thinking hard. However, most people have given up and can only wait for the seed players in their respective leagues, hoping that the other party can open a way. Hey, in a blink of an eye, there are only a few hundred people left. An old Xianxian sighed and said, "It's too difficult. There are very few people who know how to play chess. Among geniuses, it is even harder to find. But it doesn't matter, the four major alliances have already been prepared. Hold on." Everyone spoke one after another. Lu Xing started playing chess. At this time, everyone is paying attention. Lu Xing of the Daiyuan Alliance finally made his move. He looked solemn. As soon as the black piece fell, the white piece immediately followed. The black and white sides fell into a fierce strangulation. Beads of sweat fell heavily on Lu Xing's forehead. He went all out and continued with difficulty. As the chess game changed, his eyes were filled with bloodshot eyes. This chess game is so terrible. Is it so difficult for even the little chess master? Incredible. Everyone was amazed. However, Lu Xing finally lost a son. As he fell, the bone table in front of him suddenly disappeared. Then, the second one appeared. As the first bone table disappeared, part of the barrier also disappeared, and he could walk about 10 steps forward. The situation is broken. As expected of the little chess master. The number one chess master of the Earth-UN Alliance is indeed amazing. Everyone was surprised. Lu Xing was also relieved, with a hearty look on his face. He immediately stepped forward and walked to the second bone table. A group of young people from the Earth-UN Alliance hurriedly followed him. Anyone who breaks the situation can create a path. This path is open for others to follow. However, when Lu Xing sat on the second bone chair, he was stunned for an instant. Looking at the chess game on the chessboard, he seemed to be lost in thought. How scary was the second game? Incredible. There are 9 chess games in total, each one more terrifying than the last. Everyone spoke one after another. And at this moment, someone in the Earth Spirit Alliance breaks the situation. Everyone looked over in shock. But over there, it was a woman who broke the formation. She was dressed in a hazy gauze, her slender and graceful figure was looming, and one sand table after another appeared in her hands. Muchenexai, the saint of Xianzhen sect, she is so powerful. Xianzhen sect's Tianyan sandbox? It is said that it was made with the painstaking efforts of successive generations of Xianzhen sect masters. It can break all formations in the world. With this sand table here, all the previous sect leaders of the Xianzhen sect will be with Muchenexai. Everyone also spoke in surprise. At the same time, everyone in the Earth Spirit Alliance followed Muchenexai excitedly. Among the thousands of young people in the field, only these 2 people broke through the first formation. Other states and alliances are at a loss. We can't break the formation. Duan Mu Yang, Ning Zhaoran and other geniuses, After thinking hard, couldn't break the formation at all. They don't have the talent like Lu Xing, nor the accumulation like the Xianzhen sect. It seems that our Earth-Wind Alliance can only do this. Ningzhaoran, let's do it. At this time, an old Xianxian from the Earth-Wind Alliance spoke. Hearing this, Ningzhaoran nodded and immediately took out a crystal. At the same time, 4 old men suddenly walked outside. 4 chess masters, please. The old Xianxian of the Earth and Wind Alliance spoke respectfully and handed a crystal to the 4 of them. Through the crystal, the chess game Ningzhaoran was facing was immediately revealed in front of the 4 chess masters. Seeing this, everyone in the field understood. Earth and Wind Alliance, are you planning to cheat? Tian, are they actually the 4 chess saints of Tianyan? The 4 of them are the original Taishan Baidu from the Earth spirit world, who use chess to prove the truth. I'm afraid the opportunity for these 4 people to take action is none other than the Earth-Wind Alliance. Everyone exclaimed. The 4 chess masters of Tianyan also nodded at this moment, and the leader chess master Bai Yiza said. It is the long-cherished wish of the 4 of us to be able to achieve the ultimate fate in this world. They looked at the crystal, but all 4 of them were surprised. What a terrible chess game! It contains hundreds of changes and tens of thousands of killing. It's so complicated, it's really scary. The 4 of them sighed, and then they began to think hard, one for you and one for me. Finally, after a long time, the Earth-Wind Alliance broke the first chess game. At the same time, Xuanhuan, the mysterious formation sect of the Earth Spirit Alliance, had broken open the second one, causing everyone to exclaim. These 3 people seem to have become all the hope in the field. Soon, Xuanhuan, the Xianzhen sect, broke through the third one again. But this time, the Tianyan sandbox in her hand was shattered. Turned into powder on the spot. Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked. The Xianzhen sect's most precious treasure, is useless. Without this thing, I'm afraid it will be difficult for Xuanhuan to continue to break the formation. Hey, this is a place related to the first heaven. It's really difficult to get that treasure. Everyone sighed. Xuanhuan's face was even more pale at this moment, and her heart was bleeding when she saw the Tianyan sandbox in her hand shattered. That is the hard work and wisdom of hundreds of generations of Xianzhen sect masters. On the other side, Lu Xing suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, and then put down the last piece. The second game was broken instantly. But, it's just this moment. Lu Xing's black hair turned white at a speed visible to the naked eye. Everyone in the world was extremely shocked. How much effort did Lu Xing spend? Sitting before the third game, Lu Xing just glanced at the chessboard. The hair on his head turned completely white. Wrinkles even began to appear on his face. Life is passing. Everyone in the scene was shocked. Ah! A scream suddenly sounded. Everyone turned around, only to see an old man among the 4 chess masters invited by the Earth-Wind Alliance spit out a mouthful of blood, his eyes were bloodshot, and he died on the spot. Life is exhausted. In the second game, this was the breakthrough. Ahead, Ningzhaoran walked into the third round. At this moment, the remaining 3 chess masters were almost in a state of madness. I'm not convinced, is there any chess game in the world that we can't break? Even if you burn everything, you must break the chess game. Open up. The remaining 3 chess masters suddenly fell into a strange state at this moment. Their souls, appearing outside the body, actually started to tremble. Every time they teach Ningzhaoran, their souls tremble more and more. One son after another. The souls of the 3 great chess masters suddenly returned to their bodies. The 3 of them instantly vomited blood and fell to the ground, convulsing all over and convulsing to the point of foaming at the mouth. 3 chess masters. Quickly, bring me the elixir that nourishes the soul. The 3 chess masters have hurt their souls. It's too scary, please save the 3 of them in unison. Many immortals from the Earth-Wind Alliance spoke hurriedly. Everyone in the field was shocked. Unbelievable to the extreme. It's over, Tianyon's sand table collapsed, Lu Xing lost 2 games, and one of the 4 great chess masters was killed and 3 were injured. No one can break these 9 great formations again. A treasure is born, but no one can get it. The whole place was silent, and they were extremely afraid of the chess game and the barrier in front of them. But, at this moment, another table of bones suddenly disappeared. Who is this person? He can actually break the first chess game. I've never seen him before. He seems to be a native of Huangtianzhou. It's not well known. Everyone watched. This person is Xuanhuan. At this moment, he followed the guidance of the first immortal general in his body and broke the first chess game. Haha, I am the protagonist of this world. He was very excited. The gazes of everyone made him full of confidence. He immediately walked to the second array and said, "Mr. Yang, hurry up, teach me how to break the second one." "Do you think I don't have to think?" Inside his body, Yang Michin said coldly, "This chess game is extremely terrifying. Do you think it's easy?" Xiaoyan's face looked a little ugly, but he still said, "That's not what I meant, please don't bother me, Mr. Yang." The first immortal general Yang Michin fell into silence immediately, seeming to be thinking. 8 vertically and 10 horizontally. After a long time, the voice of the first immortal general finally sounded. Xiaoyan immediately started to take action. Not long after, the second round was broken. In an instant, the whole audience was paying attention. This person actually broke the second game. Besides, he looks very relaxed, as if he is playing. Impressive. Everyone was surprised. Xiaoyan, on the other hand, walked to the third game proudly. This time, it took him longer. However, in the end Yang Michin once again thought of a solution to the situation. The third game was also broken. This time, the whole audience was shocked. "This genius! You actually broke 3 games in a row on your own. More powerful than Zioki Shenglo Star." Everyone in the world was shocked. Xiaoyan was already sitting in front of the 4th game board. Behind him, a long path appeared. "Brother, can we come in with you? It's up to you to choose the opportunity." "Yes, as long as you allow us to follow, we will give you whatever you want." "Brother, you were born in Huangtianzhou. I feel so wrong to you. Our Yu family is a golden immortal level family, and we invite you to join." Suddenly, countless people opened their mouths to solicit and show their favor. Xiaoyan was even more confident at this moment. While Mr. Yang in his body was still thinking, he turned to face everyone present and said with a sneer, "My name is Xiaoyan. Today, as long as you are willing to become my follower, you can enter with me and get an unparalleled opportunity." He pointed towards the crowd. You, and you. Everyone come here." Almost all of the ones he was referring to were the most beautiful saints from various sects. Seeing this, many saints turned pale. "Excessive. What do you think you are? Do you think that since you are an emperor, you can choose a concubine?" Many saints were angry. But, there was also some contemplation. This person is so young and can break 3 chess games in a row. He has a bright future. It's worth winning over. Follow him in first. Immediately, a dozen beautiful girls came forward and followed him. Seeing this, Xiaoyan was even more ecstatic. "Ha ha ha." He laughed and glanced around unscrupulously. Suddenly, he fell on Qinglan and Xiaoyao. "These 2 are top beauties. And you too." Seeing this, Qinglan and Xiaoyao both looked cold. Xiaoyan pointed at Lu and gave way. "Haha, let me tell you, although his cultivation is okay, he can't enter here at all. Only by following me can you get the opportunity here." Are you coming? Come, I will give you a great future. He is very heroic. However, Kinglan was just indifferent. Xiao Yao even sneered, you can break this fourth chess game first. Xiao Yan sneered, I've made up my mind, not just 4, but 9. After he finished speaking, he turned around and waited. 11 vertically, 17 horizontally. Not long after, the voice of the number 1 immortal general in the body finally sounded. Xiao Yan was immediately overjoyed and made a move. He made one move after another, but he didn't notice that the voice of the first immortal general Yang Michin gradually became fainter. Finally, the fourth game was broken. The whole audience was shocked. Heaven, the fourth one is broken. A genius, an unparalleled genius. This must be a destined person. He is very likely to receive the inheritance of the first heaven. In an instant, everyone's eyes were filled with heat. If breaking 3 in a row before was nothing, breaking the fourth now completely proves that Xiao Yan has a bright future. I am willing to follow the young master. Thank you, sir, for your support. Suddenly, many beautiful saints who were hesitant or indifferent just now stepped forward and followed Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan became even more proud. He turned to look at Xiao Yao and Xinglan and said, I'll give you one last chance. After speaking, he looked at Lu Rang and said, Lu Rang, right? I think your cultivation is pretty good. Come on, bring them both here, and I will give you the honor of being my number 1 follower. Follow me, even if you are just a dog, you will have a bright future. He is arrogant and extremely proud. When Lu Rang heard this, he was suddenly puzzled. Ever since I left the mountain village, I have never seen such an inflated person. Well, you are indeed very good. I have a place to introduce you to. How about following me back to the village to raise pigs? Lu Rang asked rhetorically. Hearing this, Xiao Yan's eyes suddenly became angry. Trash, how dare you come to entertain me? He cursed angrily and said, if you don't want to, just watch here. When I get the inheritance of the first heaven, you won't even have a chance to be a dog to me. He turned around immediately. Master Xiao Yan, break the formation quickly. As long as we break the formation, the slave family will be yours from now on. A charming saint gave him a wink. Master Xiao Yan, take us in quickly. Yes, show your power quickly. For a time, the saints who followed all spoke one after another. With a smile on his face, Xiao Yan turned around, walked to the 5th chessboard, and whispered. Mr. Yang, hurry up, help me. However, within him, the faint voice of the first immortal general Yang Michin sounded. Boy, I have defeated 4 large formations in a row. I have consumed too much of my soul. This 5th chess game is terrifying. Just a glance at it almost made me lose my soul. You wish for good luck, I want to rest. After saying that, the first immortal general in the body was completely frozen, as if falling into dormancy. Suddenly, Xiao Yan's face turned green. Damn, what's going on? At such a critical moment, everyone is looking at me, looking forward to the time when I break through. The golden finger has lost its chain? He doubted his life on the spot. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 124. The number 1 immortal general in the body, Yang Michin, is dormant. Xiao Yan's face suddenly turned green. What is going on? He is preparing to do something big, take over countless harems, and reach the pinnacle of life. There were so many beautiful and charming saints looking at me. Say no at this time. His scalp was numb. No, I absolutely can't. He gritted his teeth and said, "Even without Mr. Yang's help, I am still the proud son of heaven, and I am also the protagonist of this world." He is determined to break the situation on his own. However, just by looking at the chess game, he felt dizzy. The collision of countless rules, the interweaving of thousands of ways. I do not believe. He grabbed a chess piece with difficulty. Master Xuanhuan is about to make a move. Every time a child falls, his legend is being written. I seem to have seen an invincible being who is rising. It may not be a good thing to be able to follow him and be blessed by him. Behind, many saints and other saints followed, their beautiful eyes full of expectation at this moment. "You guys get out of the way, I was the first to follow you, I am Mr. Xuanhuan's favorite." "Haha, we are just followers now. Want to compete for favor? Ask young Master Xuanhuan first." "I am the most suitable Taoist companion for young Master Xuanhuan, right?" Some saints even started to get jealous. Under everyone's gaze, Xuanhuan's watercolored chess piece finally fell. The moment the chess piece falls, "Ah!" Xuanhuan suddenly let out a shrill scream. He staggered back, his face turned pale and his whole body was shaking. He felt that his soul was almost torn apart. He fell limply to the ground. Failed. Seeing this, the group of saints who were looking forward to it were instantly stunned. Completely stunned. Master Xuanhuan, failed. No, how is this possible? Master Xuanhuan just broke 4 sets in a row as if nothing happened. Why is he so weak now? He lost after just 1 move. Is the 5th game so scary? They were all shocked. Some saints even looked ugly on the spot. I thought he was really the pride of heaven, but it turned out to be a silver pewter spearhead. Useless stuff. It's better to leave, there is no future if you follow him. The group of saints who were scrambling just now are now leaving one after another. Don't even look at him again. Seeing this, Xuanhuan raised his head subconsciously and said with difficulty, "No. These are all my favorite harems. Why did you leave? Young man, I asked you to show off, but now you're showing off, right?" On the other side, Lu Rang also smiled leisurely and said, "I see, you are not even qualified to feed pigs in our village." Hearing this, Xuanhuan felt even more humiliated, and he said angrily, "What are you so arrogant about? I broke 4 formations in a row and am the #1 prodigy in the heavens. Who do you think you are? Even if it lasts for a while, you can't break it?" Hearing this, Lu Rang smiled slightly and said, "Who said I can't break it? I just haven't taken action yet. It's all set, young master, we're about to break the formation." After saying that, he turned to look at the array. At the same time, a crystal in his sleeve suddenly lit up. That was given by Holy Lord Yuanyang and others, so they could contact Xuanhuan Zhou at critical moments. But just now, he had not moved. He was using the crystal to contact Holy Master Yuanyang and others, asking them to find their master. Now, they should have found their master in a small mountain village. And at this moment, Xuanhuan Zhou, Southern region, small mountain village. Holy Lord Yuanyang, Mu Jianing, and others came urgently after receiving the summons from Lu Rang. Now they have entered the small courtyard. Holy Lord Yuanyang reported, "Senior, Mr. Lu and Mr. Dugu encountered some troubles in Huangtianzhou. Mr. Lu just contacted us urgently through the communication crystal. Li Fan was originally teaching Xuanhuan to read poetry." When he heard this, he was suddenly startled. Having trouble? Could it be that we have encountered a strong competitor? What is the communication crystal? He immediately asked, "Messaging crystal." Holy Lord Yuanyang then took out the communication crystal and said, "Senior, that's it? Master Lu Rang and others seem to have encountered a few chess games over there. It was extremely difficult and they couldn't crack it?" Li Fan took the crystal and saw the scene on the other side. Over there, Lu Rang was sitting in front of a chessboard. The chessboard was crisscrossed, and it looked like a chessboard. Hey, this thing is quite magical. Li Fan was a little surprised. But he immediately understood that this should be a treasure in the cultivation world. The treasures in the spiritual world are indeed magical. A piece of crystal can actually have the same effect as a mobile phone? Is this similar to a video call? He felt a sense of novelty, but then his attention was focused on the chessboard. After all, Li Fan had also practiced chess hard despite being tortured by the system. In the later stages of practice, he could only play chess with himself, therefore, he was lonely on the chess track for a long time. After taking a look at the chess game opposite, Li Fan said casually, 10 vertically and 9 horizontally, Tianmen guards the palace, and the dragon head comes out of the horse pass, you can win. Although this chess game is complicated, the path is actually too shallow and can be won in just a few moves. The other side of the crystal. When Lu Rang heard this, he immediately felt happy. Sure enough, his master knew how to play chess. He immediately followed Li Fan's words and lost 3 suns in a row. The 3 suns are down. Boom. The first chessboard disappeared directly. The second one appears. In an instant, the whole audience was surprised and shocked. What? Is he really good at chess? What this person said is true. Moreover, he defeated the first game with just 3 stones. I remember that the 4 great chess masters just broke the game. They played hundreds of pieces in the first game before they won. Everyone is talking about it. The 3 great chess masters had recovered a lot of their energy at this moment, and they were even more shocked when they saw this. How did the other party do it? 3 pieces broke the chess game, isn't it terrible? The eyes of the leading chess master Bai Yize were filled with disbelief. The simpler the way to decipher the chess game, the more thorough the understanding of the chess game. This piece must have been thoroughly studied. No wonder he didn't move for a long time, but he actually took the entire chess game. They are very dignified. After hearing their words, everyone around them looked shocked. This Lu Rang seems to be more worth looking forward to. Attention! Xia Yao and Qing Lan were even more surprised. Lu Rang, on the other hand, glanced at everyone lightly and said, those who are willing to go back to the village with me to raise pigs, farm, or do odd jobs, sign up now, it's not too late. After saying that, he sat on the second chair. The other side of the crystal. Li Fan couldn't help but feel happy when he saw a new chess game appeared in front of him. This game is a little more interesting than the one just now. However, he still said without thinking. 11 vertically, 7 horizontally, the black dragon cuts off its head, connects the upper and lower parts, surrounds and attacks them, and goes straight to Xuanhuan. The other side of the crystal. Lu Rang followed Li Fan's words and won 5 pieces in a row. 5 black stones fell, and in an instant, the second chessboard also disappeared in an instant. The second chess game is broken. The third chessboard appears. At this moment, everyone couldn't sit still. 5 suns broke the second set. And, this time, he almost didn't think. Isn't it terrible? How did he do it? Everyone at the scene was shocked by such a terrible chess game. Moreover, the further you go, the harder it becomes and the more time it takes. However, Lu Rang did the opposite and didn't think much at all in the second game. Lu Rang sat directly in front of the third round. In the third game, he also didn't think much, picked up the black piece and dropped it. Win 7 in a row. Boom. The third game is broken. The whole audience was shocked again. 3 suns broke the first game. 5 suns broke the second game. Even in the third game, which made the little chess Saint Lu seem bald in an instant, made Xian Zhenzongtian turn into powder when playing on the sand table, and even caused one of the 4 great chess saints to die and 3 to be injured. Only 7 pieces were used. What state is this? The whole audience was watching, and everyone's eyes were filled with solemnity. Lu Rang played non-stop and reached the 4th game. As soon as he sat down, something suddenly happened. A sunspot fell on the opposite side. This time, Lu Rang was obsessed with Bai Zi. Moreover, the first mover is from the opposite side. Such a sudden change caused the whole place to be in an uproar. I'll go, what's going on? There's something happening on the other side. Is this, don't you dare to let Lu Rang take the lead. Don't you dare to let Lu Rang take the lead. It's incredible, Lu Rang's chess skills actually scare the opponent. Everyone was dumbfounded. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 125. Lu Rang took action and broke 3 sets in a row. Moreover, every set was broken so easily. The most difficult 3rd set was only 7 moves, and the opponent lost. In the 4th game, he even forced his opponent to change chess. What is this concept? It seems that even the strongest Xuanhuan just now failed to reach this point. Xuanhuan? It's far behind. Xuanhuan is also thinking hard when facing the chess game. How can he be like Lu Rang, who just makes a move and wins with just a few pieces? Too invincible. Where does this Lu Rang come from? What is his background? Everyone was shocked. An ancient genius, this is the real ancient genius. A natural-born holy hand. At this age, you can actually have such a level of cultivation. The 3 great chess masters even exclaimed in surprise. Even the little chess player Shen Luxing was staring at Lu Rang in shock. How terrifying should the other party be? The chess game that I couldn't even crack, the other party actually cracked it so easily. Although he has never been arrogant in chess, he has always been confident in his life. At this moment, he suddenly felt that he was infinitely insignificant. The opponent had to change chess. Is Lu Rang okay this time? Everyone stared at Lu Rang nervously. Lu Rang was also startled for a moment, and his mood was very complicated at the moment. Master is also, too perverted, right? The barrier that no one in the world can break despite all their efforts is simply not worth mentioning in front of Master. Force the opponent to change their moves. And at this moment, the other side of the crystal. When the 4th game of chess appeared, Li Fan was a little surprised. The guy who plays chess with Lu Rang is pretty good at it. Although the first 3 games were complicated, the opponent's flaws were actually very obvious. But something changed in the 4th game. The opponent no longer attacked, but defended. Moreover, the defensive strategy was also a clever one. If it were an ordinary person, it would probably be difficult to figure it out. However, Li Fan only glanced at it twice and continued. 1 vertically and 4 horizontally, the stars and the moon sing in chorus, forcing the beetle to retreat. The 2 chi are interconnected, leading the blue dragon out of the cave. 1 and 4 divisions can cut off its head. The other side of the crystal. Lu Rang followed what Li Fan said and continued to make moves. This time, not so fast. It wasn't until the 10th chess piece fell and the 4th chess game suddenly disappeared. In the 4th game, it broke again. Everyone in the field was dumbfounded. Isn't this too scary? Forcing the opponent to change chess, and holding the second hand, it was still the 10th piece, and it was broken. How far has this piece's chess skills reached? It's unimaginable, just unimaginable. This man is truly a peerless genius. Everyone looked at Lu Rang with complicated expressions, and his expression changed completely. What kind of genius is this? His grasp of the chess game may have reached the realm of heaven and man. The 3 great chess masters looked horrified. I didn't expect that young Master Dugu's senior brother would be so powerful. I think young Master Dugu and others must come from a famous family, right? Even Kinglan was looking at Tuguyuking at this moment, her beautiful eyes full of complexity. Sure enough, I felt that these two people were not simple from the beginning, but I didn't expect them to be so evil. But after hearing this, Tuguyuking felt a flash of embarrassment in his heart and said, "Miss Kinglan is overrated, we are really from the village. Senior brother Lurang is in the village, we are really farming." He knew at a glance that the master must have taken action. Otherwise, Lurang doesn't understand chess at all. However, he did not expect that the master would be so fierce, forcing the opponent to change their chess pieces. Even after changing chess pieces, he still broke the game with 10 pieces. Master is really a scholar of heaven and man, and knows everything. Hearing this, Xiaoyao and Qinglan both had expressions of complete disbelief on their faces. Farming in the village? Such a unique genius still farms. Excessive humility is pride. Xiaoyao couldn't help but grind her teeth. Tuguyuking was silent. How come no one believed him when he told the truth? At this moment, Lurang had already reached the 5th round. There is no doubt that this time, he still holds the white stone, facing the black stone, and he takes the initiative. However, Lurang almost didn't think about it, just picked up the chess pieces and played. The 5th game, the 13th sun. 13 suns are broken. Everyone in the venue was shocked to the point of numbness. Game 6. In the 6th game, Lurang's eyes seemed to stay for 2 seconds, but it was only 2 seconds. Then, he made consecutive moves. 19 suns. 19th sun, break the 6th game again. The whole place was dead silent, everyone's eyes were fixed on him. Game 7. When Lurang appeared in front of the 7th round, a skeleton suddenly appeared on the bone chair opposite Lurang. The white skeleton sat opposite him, holding a white piece in his hand, and he took the first one. And everyone was shocked when they saw the white skeleton appearing. What is that? Is that skeleton still alive? It's too scary. Is this a spirit still alive in the immortal burial mountain range? Incredible. Everyone spoke one after another. An old man from the Earth Spirit Alliance was even more shocked and said, "No, after tens of thousands of years, the skeleton has not transformed. Moreover, the joints on the body are like white jade, this skeleton has a trace of immortality." Hearing this, the whole place was in an uproar. The breath of immortality. For the entire lower realm, immortality is like a distant star. I've only heard of it in legends. But now, a white bone with an immortal aura actually appears, playing chess with the people in the lower world. Being able to play against the opponent in the next round is already a great opportunity. What a shame, what a shame. If we can see this game, maybe we can go a step further. There must be terrifying opportunities in the immortal burial mountain range. We must get it here. For a moment, everyone's eyes were shocked and hot. The more powerful this white skeleton is, the more terrifying the opportunities hidden within it are. No, we have to find a way to win over this Lurang. We must win over him. This is an unparalleled genius. Moreover, he is most likely the only one who can break the barrier and enter it. The saint of our clan may finally have a suitable partner. Many old monsters were thinking deeply at the moment and spoke in low voices. The young heroes in the field had even more complex expressions and sad hearts. This is too outrageous. Even on the other side, inside Xiaoyan, who was lying softly on the ground, an imperceptible voice sounded. "This skeleton smells so familiar, I remember, it's him, the Nantian general standing side by side with me." Lurang sat opposite the skeleton, watching the opponent make a move, and thought about it for 3 seconds. The other side of the crystal. Li Fan looked at the opponent's chess moves and was delighted. Good. He couldn't help but praise that the chess player Lurang met did have some talent. It stretches across the northwest, slaying dragons across the vast distances, stretching 10 and 17 across, covering the sky and the sun. Li Fan spoke repeatedly. On the other side of the crystal, Lu Rang followed Li Fan's words and won 21 pieces in a row. The moment the last piece fell, the chessboard disappeared. Opposite Lu Rang, the white bone skeleton suddenly stood up, raised his hand, pointed at Lu Rang, and a ray of light shot into Lu Rang's body. This light contains countless Taoist principles and various golden runes. Lu Rang was stunned for a moment, because he discovered that his cultivation had actually surpassed the realm of Xianxian at this moment. Moreover, he directly entered the 6th level of Xianxian. He absorbed the cultivation and essence of that white bone skeleton, and more of it was stored in his body and turned into his Dao foundation. What a great opportunity! He couldn't help but speak. However, at the same time, those golden runes that had just entered Lu Rang's body were crushed and turned into nothingness. Lu Rang absorbed the opponent's cultivation and essence, but his inheritance was crushed by something in Lu Rang's body, as if he disliked the inheritance as being too rubbish. The white bone skeleton seemed to sense that its inheritance was being wiped out. It shook itself and collapsed. Outside, everyone was shocked to the point of numbness. Simply numb. Beings with an aura of immortality are crushed by them even when they play against each other. They are simply crushed. The old chess saint Bai Yi's eyes twitched. This child is definitely a seed of immortality. An old Xianxian spoke in shock. It's too scary. Is this son, got the inheritance from a big shot in the fairyland? The rest of the people were all filled with emotion. And in the eyes of Yin Yuan Chen, the leader of the Dark Moon sect, a faint scarlet flashed across. Very good, very good. All the opportunities I get now will belong to me in the future. Within Xiao Yan's body, the first immortal general, Yang Michin, murmured to himself. Why haven't I met this son, a great successor, General Nantian? You have found a good successor. His words were full of complexity and envy. If he were to know that the inheritance of General Nantian didn't even qualify him to enter Lu Rang's body, I don't know what he would think. And Lu Rang did it before the 8th game. In the 8th game, similarly, a skeleton appeared opposite Lu Rang. However, all the bones in this skeleton are red gold. It looks extremely holy. Golden skull. That kind of sacred aura shocked everyone present. God, is this immortal? The bones of the immortal. How is it possible? How is it possible to bury immortals in the immortal burial mountains? The whole audience was shocked. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 126. The golden skeleton appeared opposite Lu Rang. It caused a huge shock among everyone present. If the white jade skeleton just now had just a hint of immortality, the golden skeleton that appeared now had an extremely rich aura of immortality. What exactly is buried in the immortal burial mountain range? The opportunities here are extremely terrifying. This son Lu Rang will definitely defy heaven. Everyone present was extremely emotional. In Xiao Yan's body, even the first immortal general Yang Michin, who had just fallen into dormancy, was shocked and said. The quasi-immortal lord, came from the first heaven. He once slaughtered 3 powerful men of the same realm and died fighting against the holy gold immortal lord of the western immortal territory, the quasi-immortal lord Zhan Li. While everyone was shocked, the golden skeleton had already taken action and made a move. When this piece fell, everyone in the venue felt that there was a Taoist charm accompanying it. The other side of the crystal. The joy in Li Fan's eyes grew stronger. Okay, these opponents are a bit interesting. The opponent's strength seems to be stronger than before. However, the opponent's chess strategy is still shackles. Li Fan immediately said, the first 3, the last 4. Over there, Lu Rang played chess according to his chess style. And Li Fan looked at the opponent's chess moves all the way, with a look of regret on his face. It's a pity that although he is very strong, he didn't see another world in the chess game. His heart moved. Although the other party's level was a little low, he actually had some talent, which made Li Fan couldn't help but love talents. Since we are destined to play chess, I will show you another world. Li Fan immediately spoke and said. Cross and cross, water runs through the dragon field, the stars move horizontally, 9 vertically and 9 horizontally. The other side of the crystal. Lu Rang followed Li Fan's words, and one child after another kept falling. This time, the two sides actually went back and forth and made more than 30 pieces in a row. Everyone in the venue stared intently. Lu Rang is so terrifying. He can actually fight with Immortal and fight back and forth. Unthinkable. Shocking. They are all numb. However, as the chess pieces continued to fall, the aura of the golden skull continued to change, becoming more brilliant and powerful. What's going on? Why do I feel that the Immortal is getting more powerful? Incredible, his aura seems to be undergoing a qualitative change. Oh my god, no way. This. Everyone is incredible. And the old chess sage Bai Yiza stood up tremblingly and said. The Immortal is enlightening and improving from the game with Lu Rang. I understand that he is not truly immortal, but this game of chess can help him. He stepped forward step by step and said. I must take a look. His eyes were bloodshot, and he was extremely ferocious, but as soon as he moved forward, he touched a trace of qi, and he instantly exploded into a blood mist. There's not even a scum left. There was dead silence. The words of the old chess master made everyone feel as if they were struck by thunder. A game of chess will allow those who are close to immortality to cross that threshold. For everyone in the heaven, immortality is extremely far away to them. In fact, they have never even seen Tei Golden Immortal. However, they know that this is an existence on the level of myths and legends. At this moment, everyone looked at Lu Rang with admiration written in their expressions. Yes, admire it. How could one not admire a strong man who could bring a man close to immortality to enlightenment? As Lu let the chess pieces continue to fall, the aura of the golden skull becomes more and more powerful. Finally, Lu Rang gave birth to the last son. At this moment, the chessboard disappeared. Golden skeleton, lost. However, at this moment, the golden skeleton exuded a terrifying aura. That is the true breath of the immortal. The horror is boundless. In the field, everyone in the audience couldn't help but kneel down and worship. The heavens tremble. The universe and countless worlds shook violently. If someone proves the position of immortal lord, all the heavens and all the worlds will feel it. Nearly half of the millions of lower worlds feel it. Oh my god, what step did someone take in the lower world? How can this be? What's going on? The lower world, no one has become immortal for hundreds of thousands of years. Is it the three heavens? It must be, only in the three heavens can immortal level existences appear. The world is shocked. Moreover, a terrifying wave rushed straight into the immortal realm. Fairyland, Nantianmen. No. There is someone in the lower realm who has proven immortality. Report to all the immortals quickly. The gatekeeper's pupils shrank. By Tianmen. The breath of the immortal lord comes from the lower world. It is very likely that a giant evil has appeared in the lower world. Please light the immortal lord incense candle and inform all the immortal lords. In the immortal realm, wherever the lower realm was observed, there was a huge earthquake, and news spread throughout the immortal realm. There was a huge earthquake in the immortal realm. Because, those who have proved the immortal king are all geniuses of the ages. Never seen again. Every time a statue appears, it means that the pattern of the fairyland will be rewritten. Appearing in the lower realm means that something big might happen. Everyone in heaven realm doesn't know all this. At this moment, everyone in the four major alliances is kneeling down, looking excited and unable to control themselves. In our world, an immortal lord actually appeared. According to legend, only the four heavens have such a possibility. Is our world really the first heaven? It must be, it must be. Everyone bowed their heads and looked excited. In the audience, only Duguyuking was in a daze and did not kneel down, because he had a treasure on his body that could resist this kind of aura. Master guided the other party to take this step. Duguyuking murmured, "How strong is Master?" At this moment, he simply didn't dare to think. Yin Yuan Chen of Dark Moon sect, with the scarlet light deeply hidden in his eyes at this moment, knelt on the ground. His heart was shocked. How can there be such a terrifying existence in this world? This is impossible, this is absolutely impossible. He stared at Lu Rang's back, his eyes full of fear. And within Xiaoyan's body, a loud cry also sounded. "Boy, be sure to follow this kid, he is invincible." Even Yang Michin didn't know how to describe it. He could only use the word invincible to describe it. And at this moment, the golden skeleton that had become immortal suddenly let out a sigh. "Thank you for your support, Senior. Although Zhang Li has been dead for tens of thousands of years, I have no regrets now." In the golden skeleton, a sad and relieved voice sounded, and it suddenly bowed deeply to Lu Rang. After bowing, the golden skeleton instantly turned into nothingness. However, an invisible wool left this place from his skeletal body. The invisible wool floated to the sky above the heaven, and then quickly flew to Xiantian Prefecture and the southern territory. It landed outside the small mountain village and knelt down to worship the small mountain village. "Senior's great kindness will be unforgettable by me. If I can survive the battle with my old enemy in the immortal realm, I will definitely come and serve my senior." Then he left. It broke through the boundary wall of heaven and rushed straight into the fairyland. Then, he found a certain enemy. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 127. Heavenly Realm, Huangtianzhou. The golden skeleton of the immortal just shattered and disappeared. The extremely terrifying pressure disappeared in an instant. Everyone present was in a daze, and their eyes were still filled with incredible looks. What happened? Why, just after I took that immortal step, I perished. What happened? Everyone was puzzled and had no idea what was going on. Zhang Li has died a long time ago. All that is left is his will, which can make a will transcend immortality. Inside Xiaoyan's body, the words of the first immortal General Yang Michin were filled with horror. Behind Lu Rang, I'm afraid there is an unimaginable existence. Lu Rang was a little confused at this moment. Damn it, that white bone skeleton just now gave me some cultivation and essence, allowing me to break through to the 6th level of the mysterious immortal. The golden skeleton in front of me gave me nothing. Too stingy. However, he didn't think much and moved forward immediately. Ahead, the 9th chessboard has appeared. Everyone in the 4 major alliances outside also stood up and looked at Lu Rang. This is the last one. On the 8th chessboard, an immortal has already appeared. How terrifying should the 9th chessboard be? It's unimaginable. Looking forward to it, the immortals have appeared. Is the 9th chessboard the immortal king that appears in mythology? Everyone looked at Lu Rang nervously and expectantly. However, the next moment, everyone was shocked. Because the moment Lu Rang sat down, the chessboard in front of him disappeared directly. Disappeared directly. Everyone in the field was stunned. What's going on? Even Lu Rang was stunned. At this moment, a faint shadow suddenly appeared in front of Lu Rang. It can be vaguely seen that it is a man with peerless grace. He looked at Lu Rang, but suddenly bowed towards the crystal in Lu Rang's sleeve. Since a senior disciple is here, and he has shown great kindness to Zhan Li, so that he can repay his long-standing grudge, how dare you Shuang stop him? After speaking, he suddenly stretched out his hand, made a please gesture to Lu Rang, and said, "Please. Please." Then, the phantom disappeared immediately. Everyone in the field was shocked. I understand, in the ninth game, the players don't dare to play at all. Is that phantom just now also an immortal? Let the immortals retreat directly. How scary is Lu Rang? Everyone was dead silent. It's not that Lu Rang is scary, but the person behind him is scary. There must be a communication crystal hidden in his sleeve. Didn't you see that the immortal shadow just saluted his sleeve? At this time, Ji Yuanqing spoke, and his eyes were extremely shocked. He even murmured in his heart, "If I guess correctly, the shadow just now should be the one recorded in the ancestral book, the first heaven realm, immortal Lord Yushuang. He is one of the disciples of the immortal king of the first heaven realm. Even a generation of immortal kings are so respectful to the existence behind Lu Rang." He suddenly thought of Xian Tianzhou. Xuanhuan Zhou's decree. Could it be that that person is behind Lu Rang? His heart was pounding. This seemed to be a reasonable answer. And everyone in the field suddenly realized it at this moment, and they all woke up. I see, I understand, there is an unworldly existence behind Lu Rang. I just said, how can a mere young man named Lu Rang have the ability to teach immortality? This is also scary. To be able to command the respect of an immortal, Lu Rang's background is probably boundless. Everyone in the field spoke in shock. At this moment, Lu Rang was also a little confused. The ninth inning hasn't started yet. Moreover, everyone saw it, and he immediately stopped hiding it, took out the crystal, saluted to the crystal, and said, "The other side has admitted defeat, thank you master." Seeing this scene, everyone was even more confused. Sure enough, sure enough. It's true. And the other side of the crystal. In the small courtyard, Li Fan saw Lu Rang salute and nodded, saying, "In that case, it's over there. Remember, you have to be merciful and be merciful." After speaking, he handed the communication crystal to Holy Master Yuanyang and others. Holy Lord Yuanyang took the crystal, but tremblingly asked Lu Rang over there, saying, "Master Lu, did the fluctuation that shook the entire heaven just now, come from you? That immortal aura, that trembling coercion of the heavens?" "Over there," Lu Rang said. "Yes, my master gave me some guidance and helped a being become immortal. I won't say any more, I'm busy here." After saying that, there was no sound from Lu Rang. However, his words shocked Holy Lord Yuanyang and others. Dugushen Lu, Holy Master Kongming, etc. all had complicated expressions. If Li Fan hadn't repeatedly emphasized that they were not allowed to salute in front of him, they would have wanted to worship Li Fan. This is too unbelievable. Senior Li just gave some casual advice here, and he became an immortal. That is a mythical existence, and it can only appear in the fairyland and the four heavens. Holy Master Kongming murmured. It's unbelievable how terrifying Senior Li is. Dugushen Lu also looked shocked. And behind Li Fan, the handsome Gong Ya, his delicate body was trembling. Just now, when the immortal pressure of enlightenment spread throughout the heavens, she felt it. She is also in the realm of Deluo Jingxian. Although she has not yet touched the edge of immortality, she deeply understands what kind of path it is. How difficult it is. Every step is a chasm, and there is a possibility of death. However, this Senior Li became a leader by giving random instructions. What a blessing this is. She took a deep breath, her towering breasts rising and falling with it. She stepped forward and said tremblingly, "Master, Master, let me pour you tea." Previously, she called Li Fan Senior. Now, She directly calls it, Master. Li Fan didn't notice any difference, smiled calmly and said, okay, your tea-making skills have improved a bit recently. But Xian blinked her big eyes. Gong Yat, what's going on? Gong Yat, please wake up. She couldn't help but transmit the message. Demon Lord, I think I'm awake. Gong Ye responded. Xian felt complicated in her heart. Huang Tianzhou. After Lu Rang finished speaking, he put away the crystal. Turning back, he looked at the shocked people, grinned, and said, it's all broken, junior brother Yuking, you can come over. Dugu Yuking immediately said to Qinglin and Xiaoyao, let's go there. Hearing this, Qinglin and Xiaoyao were both flattered and said in shock. Can we go there too? You must know that what is in front of you, is an unparalleled opportunity. Immortality is involved, and maybe even a higher level. If you get it, you will probably achieve infinite success and even shake the fairyland. Who is willing to share such an opportunity with others? However, now Dugu Yuking invited them together. We came together, so naturally we will go in together. Dugu Yuking smiled. Qinglin took a deep breath and said, well, thank you very much, Mr. Lu and Mr. Dugu. Yao Yao, let's go in with the two young masters. She's not pretentious. After all, this opportunity is too great. Xiaoyao also nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. The three of them immediately stepped forward and soon reached Lu Rang's side. Master Lu, can we follow you? We are willing to follow your lead. A young man spoke eagerly. Master Lu, I am willing to be your harem. A charming saint was ogling Lu Rang. Master Lu, please take me in, I am willing to be your follower. A holy son begged even more. At this moment, everyone in the venue spoke one after another. They were completely anxious. It must be understood that the barrier is not absent, but a path has been opened up by the person who broke it. Without the permission of the game breaker, others will die if they touch it, and they will die if they touch it. So, now Lu Rang has become everyone's only hope. At this moment, the powerful leaders of the major alliance leaders suddenly appeared on the scene. Ning Tianhao from the Earth-Wind Alliance, Yu Pashan from the Earth-Spirit Alliance, Wu Mingshen from the Earth Alliance, etc. are all here. They already knew everything that had just happened, and their eyes were full of solemnity at this moment. Master Lu, as long as you nod, from today on, our Duanmu family will be your subordinates. Duanmu Sen, the head of the Duanmu family, spoke solemnly and said, as long as you say a word, I can destroy this traitor Duanmu Yang. Hearing this, Duanmu Yang suddenly fell to the ground, his face turned pale. He understood that now, in order to get close to Lu Rang, his father would never be merciful to him. At this moment, he regretted it to the extreme. Why do you want to offend Lu Rang? Ning Tianhao of the Earth and Wind Alliance was more direct. He grabbed his grandson Ning Zhaoran and destroyed all his cultivation on the spot. Ah! Ning Zhaoran let out a shrill scream. From now on, he was completely disabled. This son is blind and has offended Mr. Lu. Ning apologizes to Mr. Lu. I wonder, Mr. Master, if you can allow our Earth-Wind Alliance to come with you. Ning Tianhao lowered his attitude. I have a granddaughter. Although her qualifications are low, I hope she can give it to Mr. Lu and serve as a maid. Wu Mingshen also opened his mouth and directly wanted to give his daughter away. Ahem, Mr. Lu, although my wife does not have a granddaughter, but my son has recently married a peerless beauty and has not lost her virginity yet. You nod and I will send it to your house. Yu Pashan spoke with some embarrassment and said, of course, in order to compensate Mr. Lu, all the resources of our Yu family, will belong to Mr. Lu from now on. Many big figures expressed their opinions one after another. He tried his best to win over Lu Rang. The attitude they showed was simply to get close to Lu Rang, and it didn't matter what they had to do. Even if it's his own children, even if he loses everything. Because they all already understood that Lu Rang in front of them represented the supreme future. Just now, even the immortal level existence and the master behind Lu Rang were able to achieve it easily. Immortality, that is an existence in myths and legends. Even the leaders of major alliances have only heard of it. In their eyes, Tei Golden Immortal is heaven. And for immortality, Tei Golden Immortal? The ants on the roadside are not even. Therefore, as long as they can embrace Lu Rang's thigh and get some favor from the master behind him, they will make a lot of money. Even if I lose all my resources now, it doesn't matter. Don't just give it to a saint, even if it means that it belongs to their family, they will give it to them. Because the prospects are too great. For the prospects, everything they have now is not worth mentioning. Seeing the statements made by many alliance leader level figures, the many saints, young heroes, etc. in the scene were all dumbfounded. It's too scary. Lu Rang, has many alliances paid such attention to him? When Lu Rang heard this, he said disdainfully. Now on the road. When I recruited people to go back to the village to raise pigs, no one paid attention to me. As soon as he finished speaking, a group of saints all hurriedly spoke. Master Lu Rang, my favorite thing is raising pigs. Don't worry, I will make sure the pigs in our village are fat and strong. A graceful saint spoke hurriedly, not caring about her shyness. I am a pig, and I love pigs the most. A son of God scrambles. Not only can I raise pigs, I am also proficient in water-based exercises and can keep the pig house clean at all times. Mr. Lu Rang, I am a professional. A beautiful woman was even more ruthless and demonstrated her water-based skills on the spot, throwing them all out. The competition is fierce. But at this time, a holy son gritted his teeth, clenched his fists, and shouted. Damn it, don't fight with me. My ancestors have the blood of wild boars. I use special pig dung for my practice. I have a deep love for pigs. Mr. Lu Rang, choose me, choose me. As soon as he said this, everyone was shocked and looked at him in disbelief. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 128. Everyone in the field scrambled to be the first to speak out, even saying that their ancestors had wild boar blood. Just to get a spot for He Lu to enter. The argument almost came to a head. You must know that there must be immortal level opportunities buried in the immortal burial mountain range. For such an opportunity, let alone raising pigs, they would be willing to turn into pigs. When Lu Rang heard this, he also said in his heart, F***ck. He just mentioned it casually, but he didn't expect that these people were crazy. Too enthusiastic. That's enough, stop arguing. At this time, Lu Rang said, please be quiet, I'm almost being disturbed to death by you. As soon as Lu Rang spoke, everyone stopped immediately, not daring to say another word for fear of offending Lu Rang. Ahem, Mr. Lu, am not a stingy person. Let's do this. Anyone who wants to enter must pay 100,000 fairy spirit stones. Lu Rang said carelessly. Hearing this, everyone was startled. 100,000 immortal spirit stones for one person? Isn't that too expensive? 100,000 immortal spirit stones can cultivate a true immortal. Who can take it out? Everyone looked ugly. However, the leaders of the major alliances immediately stepped forward. A total of 400 young people have come to our Earth UN Alliance. Our Earth UN Alliance is willing to pay 40 million fairy spirit stones to buy places for them. Wu Mingshen waved his hand, and a ring appeared, saying, this ring contains 40 million immortal spiritual stones, please accept it. Our Earth Wind Alliance is also willing, here are 50 million fairy spirit stones. Ning Haoshan also spoke. This is 60 million immortal spiritual stones. Yu Pashan did not hesitate. Tens of millions of fairy spirit stones is a huge amount even for the entire alliance. But what is that compared to the possibility of immortality here? Even if it costs you everything, it's worth it? When Lu Rang saw it, he immediately beamed. Developed. In this way, there are a total of 150 million immortal spirit stones. Although they practice daily in the small courtyard, the fairy spirit stone is of no use to them, but it can still be given to the Xiantian alliance. Senior brother, do you really want them to follow you in? At this time, Zhuge Yuqing opened his mouth and frowned. The opportunity is not good for too many people to enter. Don't worry. The immortal shadow just now gave me a message. After passing the barrier, there is another terrifying level. The more people who enter, the less pressure we will have when the time comes. Lu Rang Xuanhuan spoke. Hearing this, Zhuge Yuqing immediately understood. My senior brother, this is so dark. For a time, people from all major alliances who had handed over spirit stones stepped forward one after another, followed behind Lu Rang and others. This is a million fairy spirit stones. I just want to see the senior who broke 9 chess games. At this time, a graceful figure shrouded in gauze walked over. It was Mu Jinexai from the Xianzhen sect. The blue waves in her beautiful eyes were truly charming, and her eyes were filled with anticipation at this moment. Hearing this, Lu Rang smiled and said, I'll charge you 100,000 yuan. If you want to meet my master, it depends on fate. Hearing this, a flash of deep disappointment flashed in Mu Jinexai's eyes. At this time, little Chess Saint Lucine also came over. He was full of white hair, like an extremely old man, and said, I'm not greedy for the opportunity here, but I just want to be able to take that senior as my teacher. Mr. Lu, please do it. After saying that, he couldn't even kneel down. Lu Rang's heart moved, but he took a step away and said, it depends on fate. When he came, Master asked him to find a few disciples with special hobbies. This Lu Xing actually met the requirements. However, there are too many people now, so we can't agree rashly. Let it go first. Mr. Lu, I don't have 100,000 fairy spirit stones, but I can give you a supreme skill. At this time, even Xiaoyan came running over, with a flattering look on his face. Just now, the voice of Yang Michan, the #1 immortal general in his body, sounded again, telling him to follow Lu Rang inside. At all costs. Therefore, he bared the humiliation and shouldered the burden, prepared himself mentally, and spoke humbly to Lu Rang, hoping to ask for a spot. Lu Rang looked at him, but sneered and said, What did you say just now? With you, even a dog can have a bright future. If I fight against you, will I be worse than a dog next to you in the future? Lu Rang clearly remembered Xiaoyan's extremely swollen face just now. Hearing this, Xiaoyan's face turned extremely ugly. He knelt down and said, I was wrong, I am the dog. Mr. Lu, please let me in. I am willing to give you three supreme scriptures. In order to get into it, he worked hard. The protagonist sometimes has to endure insults that ordinary people cannot bear. He told himself in his mind. Supreme scripture? Do you think I lack this thing? Lu Rang was very disdainful. The white jade skeleton just now already possessed the aura of immortality, but when he wanted to pass on the scriptures to himself, he was directly obliterated by something in his body. As soon as he thought about it, he understood that what he had learned by following his master was the supreme way. Compared with it, immortality was not enough. And this Xiaoyan, even if he has some opportunities, what can he do? Xiaoyan looked worried and hurriedly sent a message. Master Lu Rang, don't worry. The value of these 3 scriptures must not be less than 100,000 fairy spirit stones. Moreover, I am familiar with the situation inside. There are endless wronged souls in it. Hearing this, Lu Rang felt moved. Does this kid really know what's going on inside? That's all. I, Mr. Lu, are magnanimous. Come with me. Let the other person follow you in first. Immediately, Xuanhuan thanked him profusely. However, he was filled with hatred in his heart. I, Xuanhuan, am the protagonist, just wait for me, when I get the chance, you will definitely die. He had murderous intent in mind. This is 100,000 immortal spirit stones, I want to enter them too. At this time, among the many senior figures, Yin Yuan Chen of the Dark Moon sect suddenly spoke. The elders are not just as simple as 100,000, 1 million. Lu Rang spoke directly. 1 million per person, this amount is simply astronomical. But Yin Yuan Chen did not hesitate and threw a ring to Lu Rang and said. 5 million fairy spirit stones, no need to look for them. Lu Rang smiled happily and said, it's generous. He immediately looked at Yu Pashan and others and said. Where are you alliance leaders? Why don't you go in and take a look? Maybe after you go in, you can ascend directly on the spot. Dugu Yuking, who was standing next to him, was really sweating in his heart when he saw Lu Rang's appearance. This senior brother is so capable of cheating. However, when Yu Pashan and others saw Yin Yuan Chen following the team unharmed, they were instantly surprised. It turns out that as long as someone breaks the 9 chessboards, even senior figures can join in. It dawned on them. This is 5 million fairy spirit stones. Yu Pashan took one step forward and followed immediately. Yin Yuan Chen gave 5 million, so as the leader of the alliance, he naturally couldn't lower the price. Wu Mingshen, Ning Tianhao and others stepped forward one after another. Some elders from wealthy families also followed suit, but due to limited financial resources, most of them only gave 1 million. Together with such a group of senior figures, Lu Rang gained more than 90 million immortal spirit stones. Now, he has more than 200 million fairy spirit stones in his hands. It's so rich. Counting money makes my hands cramp. Moreover, after he did this, almost everyone in the field could enter. Very well, everyone, come with me to find opportunities. Lu Rang smiled, and then took a step into the barrier. Behind him, countless people hurriedly followed. Stepping through the barrier, what came face to face was a howling wind. It's like entering another world. Here, it is dark, without a trace of sunlight, and what appears in front of us is the ancient battlefield. The broken blood-stained battle flag is still making a sound. The dead warhorse turned into a skeleton, but it has not decayed yet. The huge bones tell the story of the extraordinary bloodline. The broken Changji exuded strands of terrifying energy. The battlefield stretches out, and the thick evil aura and sinister wind are like black mist, blocking everyone's vision, making it impossible to see clearly how vast this place is. Not long after, everyone followed and entered here. This is an ancient battlefield. My God, any broken weapon contains the terrifying aura of immortality. Those who participated in this battle were all terrifying immortals. Is this the battle between the first heaven realm and the immortal realm? The legend is true, the yellow heaven realm is really a part of the first heaven realm. Everyone was very moved. Kill! 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 At this moment, in the depths of the black mist-like evil aura, a terrifying cry of death suddenly sounded, as if a terrifying and boundless army was charging towards everyone. How is this going? Could it be that they are Yin soldiers? For a moment, everyone was shocked. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 129. Just after passing the barrier, what appeared in front of us was a terrifying ancient battlefield. Moreover, a terrifying cry of death instantly appeared in front. What on earth is this? I feel so frightened that my soul is about to burst. It's too scary. Everyone was shocked and confused. And soon, in the black mist, a terrifying scene unfolded before our eyes. It was a terrifying army. The dead soldiers were sitting on undead war horses, holding broken swords and spears in their hands, charging towards them. Many of them are already skeletons, full of the smell of decay and death. But now, they are still rushing to kill. This is the first celestial soldier who died in the battle back then. Their will was too strong, so they never died. They guarded this area, so the remaining will drive them to kill all living people. Quickly run. At this time, Xuanhuan suddenly shouted loudly. Hearing this, everyone was shocked. Kill everyone alive. These ancient Yin soldiers were extremely powerful when they were alive. Although they are dead now, they are still terrifying. It is simply not something that these people from the major alliances can resist. We have to go back, quickly, go back quickly. Damn it, if I had known it was so scary, I would never have come in. Run away quickly. For a time, countless people were running towards the back, trying to get out. But at this moment, the barrier has been completely closed. Don't think about escaping. Only by getting the things here can you open the barrier and survive. Xuanhuan shouted, run to the center, that thing is in the bone temple in the center. Upon hearing this, thousands of people at the scene instantly dispersed like birds and beasts. Spread out and run away to increase your survival rate. Run away. The major alliance leaders scolded, and at the same time they turned into streams of light, scattered, and then rushed towards the center. Xuanhuan said. As the saying goes, wealth can be found in danger. Although the existence of these evil soldiers puts everyone in danger of death, they all understand where the great opportunity lies. Let's go, let's run away. Lu Rang's scalp was also numb, and he, Duguyuking, and Kinglan fled in a hurry. In an instant, there were almost no people left on the scene. Only one left. That's, Dark Moon Sect, Xuanhuan. The Yin soldiers are coming to kill you. At this moment, a blood shadow suddenly walked out of Xuanhuan's body, and Xuanhuan fell straight on the spot. The Yin soldiers came to kill, but they were in vain. The blood shadow walked past countless Yin soldiers without any hindrance. There seemed to be a sneer on the corner of its mouth. Where are we going? Mr. Yang. Xuanhuan shouted, his face looked horrified. There were Yin soldiers chasing him behind him. Go to the left. If I remember correctly, there is the corridor of the immortal Taoist palace. The Yin soldiers dare not come. Yang Michan was also working hard at this moment, directing Xuanhuan to move forward. Sure enough, not long after, he discovered a dilapidated corridor, stained with yellowed ancient blood. However, after arriving here, the Yin soldiers chasing after him stopped at a distance. Mr. Yang is indeed wise. Xuanhuan was overjoyed, and a grin suddenly appeared on his face, saying, in this way, I can arrive safely, I will be the first to arrive, and that opportunity belongs to me. He strides forward. The Yin soldiers are coming. Lu Rang's expression changed drastically and he said, Junior brother Dugu. He backed away hastily. Lu Rang is not the best at fighting. Moreover, although he has grass on his body that can kill immortals, it is useless against this kind of Yin soldier's will. Even if the Yin soldier is killed again, the Yin soldier will still reappear, because the Yin soldier has been dead long ago. What supports its fighting is the endless fighting spirit and the oaths it has sworn. What came face to face was a soldier wearing a broken armor. Only half of the changa in his hand was left. Duguyuking immediately stepped forward, and what appeared in his hand was a pen. This pen is the chicken feather pen given to him by Li Fan. He didn't hesitate and waved the chicken feather pen in his hand. In an instant, a terrifying flame suddenly appeared. The yin soldiers that came towards me were directly swallowed up by the flames, and were directly burned into invisible objects. The crisis is over. Holy shit, the chicken quill pen given by Master is so powerful. Lu Rang was shocked and spoke. Xia Yao and Qinglan were even more stunned. Master Lu Rang, tell me, what is this? Chicken quill pen. Qinglan asked blankly. Yes, before leaving, our master plucked a handful of chicken feathers to make a pen for junior brother Dugu. I didn't expect it to be so powerful. Lu Rang explained. Hearing this, both women looked complicated. Is this true or false? I plucked a handful of chicken feathers and made a pen. With a wave of this pen, it was able to burn all the yin soldiers left over from ancient times until they disappeared. What kind of chicken feathers should this be? This chicken quill pen given by Master is indeed very powerful. Even Dugu Yuking opened his mouth and couldn't put down the feather pen in his hand. This treasure given by Master is so useful. Hearing this, Qinglan and Xia Yao looked at each other and saw shock in each other's eyes. Lu Rang was carefree, but Dugu Yuking was not the kind of person who talked nonsense. This means that this pen is really made by their teacher from a bunch of chicken feathers. Well, Lu Rang, you said that the village is recruiting people to raise pigs. Is that true? At this time, Xia Yao suddenly swallowed a mouthful of saliva and said. Actually I seem to like Piggy. After all, Piggy is so cute. When Lu Rang heard this, he looked at Xia Yao in shock. Even Qinglan coughed and said, Qinglan would like to ask, is there a shortage of people to raise chickens in the village? I master wind spells, clean chicken coops, etc. I should be able to do it. Lu Rang was even more shocked. Okay, let's move forward quickly. With this pen here, we can just rush all the way. Dugu Yuking is so confident at this moment. He almost didn't use his spiritual power to kill the yin soldier just now. Then, they moved forward very fast. The chicken feather pen in Dugu Yuking's hand was like a god killing a god, and a Buddha killing a Buddha. He destroyed 3 waves of yin soldiers, one of which was a team of 9 people. Of course, one of the important reasons why they went so smoothly was that there were so many people coming in, thousands of them. It greatly dispersed the team of yin soldiers. Otherwise, even if they had a feather pen in hand, they would probably have a very difficult time. The yin soldiers roared and hunted the creatures that entered this place. Young people are bleeding. One by one the saints died. Even some old immortals, golden immortals, etc. have been destroyed. The stronger they are, the more terrifying the yin soldiers they attract. If they face the yin soldiers at the commander level, almost no one can survive. At this moment, in the center of this ancient battlefield, there is not a trace of evil spirit or yin energy here. A clear day. Dead silence, some are just dead silence. The whole world is so quiet as death. A palace made of bone seems to have passed through countless years, standing here quietly and silently. Every bone that builds the palace is as white as jade, exuding the aura of immortality. This is a palace built with the bones of an immortal. In this area, a blood shadow slowly appeared, approaching the palace step by step. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 130. The blood shadow walked towards the bone palace step by step. Under its feet, bloody footprints appeared one by one. Facing this palace, Xueying was oppressed like never before. Hundreds of generations of immortals in the first heaven have built an immortal Taoist palace with their own bones. Here, the true immortal king of the first heaven realm was established, but it also attracted the endless anger of the immortal realm. The first heaven realm's tragedy started because of you. All souls were destroyed, and the heaven was shattered. The blood shadow gradually approached, and two blood-colored eyes were split out of its bloody head. The immortals of all ages used their own bones to explore the path of the immortal king, and finally became the first in the first heaven, and the first immortal king among millions of lower realms. The first immortal king, in order to remember the merits and tragic achievements of the immortals in the past, did not have a title, but called himself the first immortal king of heaven. In addition, he placed a bone from the time of enlightenment here. That bone cut contains all the ways of the first immortal king of heaven. The blood shadow's words were full of passion and madness. It didn't notice that as it got closer and closer to the bone palace, more blood drained from its body. Finally, it reached the steps. The steps are also made of bones. Every step you take, you will feel the way of the original owner of those bones. Its body was trembling, as if it was about to burst, but it still stepped forward with difficulty. Ah! However, at this moment, it let out a shrill scream. Back quickly! Why don't you acknowledge me? I was born from the blood of countless creatures in the first heaven. They are me, and I am them. You immortals, have you forgotten your promise to all the creatures in the first heaven? You once said that you would use your own bones to create the first world of eternal peace in heaven. You once said that you were willing to shed all your blood, pierce the darkness, and seize that ray of sunshine. You once said that the lower realms should not be slaves. For the sake of millions of lower realms, you are willing to give up the honor of the fairyland. But why are you unwilling to accept me? I am also the first in heaven. It roars. However, the white bone Deo Palace just remained silent and did not respond. You don't recognize me, I want to see who you recognize. The blood shadow's voice was so vicious that after speaking, it suddenly disappeared from the place. Shortly after, finally reached. Lu Rang and others finally appeared in this area. They saw the immortal bone palace ahead. My God, what kind of palace is that? Kinglan said in shock, why do I feel filled with the majestic aura of immortality? It's so scary. Just taking a look at it, it felt like I saw countless terrifying existences. Xia Yao's beautiful eyes trembled slightly. Lu Rang and Dugu Yuking were also surprised. This place is extraordinary. Lu Rang spoke and said, it makes me feel bad. However, Dugu Yuking's eyes were extremely solemn and he said, this should be the palace that Ji Yuanqing mentioned, and there is a great opportunity hidden in it. Moreover, I feel a sense of sword intent. Come on, let's go up and have a look. Immediately, 4 people stepped forward. Step by step, they walked up the steps of the immortal bone palace. Climb several steps in a row. No. Kinglan was suddenly stunned, her beautiful eyes trembling. Just when she stepped up the steps, she felt an aura similar to her own. She seemed to see an immortal being from an endless period of time ago, showing her his supreme method. That is the endless storm, the immortal wind roar. She stopped and murmured, this step is my opportunity. Xia Yao looked at her senior sister in surprise. She understood that her senior sister was already enlightening and accepting some mysterious inheritance. None of them bothered them and continued moving forward. Not long after, Xia Yao did the same. She also encountered a Tao that she could learn. She stopped. How come we two haven't sensed it yet? Lu Rang spoke doubtfully. No, I sensed it. Dugu Yuking shook his head and said, I have felt the steps of 3 people who entered immortality through swordsmanship in succession, but, they all just glanced at me and did not preach to me. Hearing this, Lu Rang was stunned. What's going on? Dugu Yuking explained, maybe it's because, I learned master's swordsmanship. Lu Rang suddenly realized. Yes, for the immortals, the master is probably the sky, the sword technique he passed down is probably far superior to the immortal ones. Those immortals would not dare to teach you the sword technique at all, so. After all, just by playing a game of chess, Master just now can make a quasi-immortal king who has been dead for many years achieve enlightenment and become a real immortal king. After listening to Lu Rang's words, Zhuge Yuqing also nodded. Now, he understands more and more how terrifying the master is. Definitely above immortality. What is the realm above immortality? He couldn't even think about it. But you can sense the connection between the 3 stone steps? Why don't I? Lu Rang felt very angry. Senior brother, your way of cultivation may be rather strange, I guess no one else is following the path of growing vegetables like you. Zhuge Yuqing replied. Lu Rang. And as they continued to move towards the immortal bone palace, people were arriving one after another from outside. Haha, Xuanhuan, am finally here. I am the first to arrive. I will have an incredible opportunity. Xuanhuan laughed. He followed Yang Michen's instructions and avoided the Yin soldiers along the way, and finally arrived safely. Boy, this is the immortal Taoist palace of the first heaven realm. Have you seen those steps? Each step is made of the bones of an immortal and contains its great way. Let alone entering it, even if you walk through the stone steps, you will get the chance of immortality. Within him, the first immortal general Yang Michen was very excited. Yang Michen was from the immortal realm. He had participated in this battle and his remaining soul was immortal. However, he was not qualified to approach this Dao palace at all back then. Just glanced at it from a distance. I'll go immediately. Xuanhuan took a deep breath and headed towards the immortal Dao palace. However, as soon as he got close, he was shocked. There's someone in front of you. He saw 4 people on the steps. It's actually the 4 of them. No, it's impossible. Xuanhuan was shocked and said, how can they be faster than me? This is impossible. He couldn't believe it. He had to know that he had a golden finger and an old man with him. Moreover, the first immortal general Yang Michen still exists in the immortal realm and is so familiar with this place. This is not as good as Lu Rang and others. Are these people simply evil? At this moment, he almost doubted whether what he got was the protagonist's script. Within him, the first immortal general Yang Michen was silent for a moment, and then said, behind them, there is a terrifying big shot. This is not surprising, kid. I'm afraid you may not be able to get the opportunity. Xuanhuan was filled with unwillingness when he heard this. No. I am the protagonist of this world. He said ferociously, and immediately approached quickly and stepped onto the steps of the immortal Dao palace. After Xuanhuan, people appeared one after another. Muchen Xi from Xianzhen sect arrived. Bai Yuan, the holy son of the White Tiger of the Earth Yuan Alliance, also appeared on the scene. Yu Pashan, the leader of the Diling state, covered in blood, appeared with 7 or 8 young people from the Diling Alliance. Ji Yuanking's face was pale, and a jade pendant in his hand had broken into pieces. He relied on the jade pendant to get here. One after another, about 300 to 400 people fled here. The price is very heavy. You must know that there are 6,000 to 7,000 people coming in. In the end, there were only 300 or 400 people left, and almost all of these 300 or 400 people were in extremely miserable conditions. Even if they were alive, they had lost half of their lives. Some powerful golden immortals, such as Ning Tianhao, the leader of the Earth and Wind Alliance, did not arrive and may have died on the way. Is this where the opportunity lies? It's so scary. This bone palace gives me an extremely terrifying feeling. Full of immortality. Seeing the magnificent and ancient bone palace in front of them, everyone spoke with great solemnity. When Ji Yuanqing saw the immortal Taoist palace in front of him, his expression was extremely solemn and he murmured, "This is the palace that our ancestors mentioned repeatedly. This is the place that our ancestors once guarded Huang Tianzhou all their lives and were looking for." He also took a deep breath and immediately shouted, "This is the immortal Dao Palace. Everyone, it's your chance to get here, go ahead dash. At every step, you will receive an immortal inheritance. This is the hope for the restoration of the first heaven realm. If this Deo Palace is not destroyed, then the first heaven realm will not be destroyed. He shouted. Immediately, everyone in the field headed towards the immortal Deo Palace with excitement. Xuanhuan stayed where he was, not moving. There were tears in his eyes. Ancestors of all generations, you can rest in peace. The immortal Deo Palace has been found, and descendants will soon receive the inheritance here. The inheritance of the first heaven will not be interrupted. He murmured. A secret that he has never told the outside world, that is, he, Xuanhuan, is the first person in the heaven. Once, I protected this world. And his lineage did not participate in the war in the past and has been hiding. The destiny of surviving is to pass on the clues of the immortal Deo Palace. In a battle that lasted for tens of thousands of years, from the very beginning, the first heaven realm knew that it would lose. Use the power of heaven to fight against the fairyland. That is impossible to do. Even if the immortal king has been born in the first heaven, it will not work. The first immortal king of heaven once said that the immortal Deo Palace will appear again, and the future that countless immortals of the first heaven have fought for with their lives and blood will also truly appear. What will happen in this life? What kind of variables? Xuanhuan murmured, his eyes gradually falling on Lu Rang and Dugu looking at the front of the steps. Is it these two people? Is it the terrifying existence behind them? His heart was racing. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 131. Lu Rang and Dugu Yuking finally walked to the main hall step by step. During this process, Dugu Yuking fell 2 more steps. Obviously, in the first heaven, there are many people who have gone from swordsmanship to immortality and become immortal kings. But Lu Rang continued to be depressed because, after walking all the steps, he had yet to encounter a step with sensors. Could it be that in the tens of thousands of years of the first heaven realm's history, no one has ever attained immortality? Lu Rang felt lonely for a while. Fortunately, I have met my master. Even if it is a unique hobby like growing vegetables, my master can lead me on the path of perfection. Stepping into the bone hall, I saw a simple long sword stuck deep on a simple stone table in front of me. The long sword had been broken into 2 pieces, and the tip of the sword fell to the ground and was covered in dust. On the stone table, next to the sword, there is a layer of bone powder. Seeing this, Lu Rang and Dugu Yuking were both confused. What's happening here? A broken sword and a layer of bone meal? Just when the two of them were confused, Xuanhuan had already caught up behind them and said, "Is the osteotomy still there?" There was tension in his words. However, when I stepped forward, I saw the utensils on the stone table. Xuanhuan was stunned for a moment, with a deathly expression on his face. How can this be? It was as if he had been struck by lightning, his pupils widened and his face turned pale. How could there be a broken sword here? How could that broken bone have turned into powder? His words were full of great sadness and unwillingness. Why? He suddenly knelt on the ground, roaring in grief. According to ancestral records, a bone fragment of the first immortal king of the heaven is stored in the immortal Deo Palace. It was left by that immortal king in order to remember the sacrifices and dedication of countless immortals, and it contains his road. But now, the bone cut has turned into powder. A sword that didn't know where it came from was inserted on the stone table. Could it be that in the previous battle, the immortal Deo Palace was finally destroyed by the immortal realm? He couldn't believe it and didn't want to believe it. This is the only inheritance of the first heaven. How can we stop here? Lu Rang and Dugu Yuking both had doubts in their eyes. Senior G, what is going on? Dugu Yuking asked. I don't know. According to ancestral records, a bone of the immortal king should be enshrined on the stone table here, which contains his tell. Now, I don't know anything. Xuanhuan King's old eyes were filled with despair. Deep despair. It seems that it has been too long and the bones have turned into powder. This is normal. Lu Rang said carelessly, so, the opportunity here is probably gone long ago. With that said, he stepped forward. As soon as he stepped forward, suddenly, a layer of bone powder on the stone table floated towards Lu Rang automatically without wind. It floated directly into the pot of grass Lu Rang was carrying on his back. Lu Rang was immediately confused when he saw this. Why did this ashes fly into my grass? When Ji Yuanqing on the ground saw this, his pupils suddenly shrank. He looked at it in disbelief and said, impossible, even though the bone meal has lost its divinity, it still comes from the immortal king, how can it be attached to Cao Xia? He looked at the pot of grass in horror and said, what kind of grass is this? Could it be that this grass is the legendary one? Impossible, that kind of grass is only in legends, no one has ever seen it. If it was really that kind of grass, it would be terrible. This is the grass seed that my master gave me. The master said that it is forage that can be used to raise pigs, cattle, etc. in the future. Lu Rang answered. Hearing this, Ji Yuanqing almost spit out blood. Even the ashes of the immortal king are automatically attached to the grass. In other people's eyes, is it actually grass? To feed pigs? Raising cattle? What kind of family is this? He deeply felt that the person behind Lu Rang was terrifyingly strong. Dugu Yuking also stepped forward, and his eyes fell on the broken sword, because he felt something strange. When he got closer, the broken sword suddenly trembled violently. Woo! The broken sword still screams. A majestic and vast terrifying sword intent came out loudly along with the sound of the sword, shaking the world and all the worlds. Outside the immortal Dao Palace, hundreds of people who were enlightening on the steps suddenly couldn't help but kneel down. This is a kind of worship that comes from the soul. This is an irresistible scent. This is a truly supreme existence. Beyond, immortality. Everyone was lying on the ground, trembling. No. This sword intention, the legend is true. The Wuji immortal king betrayed the immortal realm and helped the first heaven realm. Within Xiao Yan's body, the first immortal general Yang Michan was shocked, his voice was trembling. He lost his voice and uttered a secret. Outside, a bloody shadow was forced to kneel on the ground by this terrifying aura. It looks up with difficulty. Wuji immortal king, the immortal king from the southern immortal realm, has an irreversible relationship with the first immortal king of heaven. In the last battle, the first immortal king of heaven fell. It is said that he was furious because of this and drew his sword towards the immortal realm. The kings, eventually, the whereabouts are unknown. Shuiying murmured. His sword was left here. Is he dead? He chose to be with the first immortal king of heaven. It whispered an eternal secret. At this moment, the blood shadow seemed to have fallen into some kind of sorrow. Heavenly realm, Huangtianzhou. In the immortal Tao Palace. The broken sword screamed softly, with extraordinary power. Dugu Yuking subconsciously reached out her hand. The broken sword suddenly flew out of the stone table and fell into his hand. The broken sword was so simple and mottled that one could no longer tell what material it was made of, but when he took it into his hands, Dugu Yuking felt a kind of generosity that would swallow him up. It's okay to be angry at a confidant, but it doesn't matter if the blood is splashed in the fairyland. Dugu Yuking suddenly spoke in a low voice, and he felt a trace of remaining will from the broken sword. In a trance, he saw an unparalleled sword master, raising his sword and slashing at the immortal kings of the heavens, moving forward without fear. The fairyland is stained with blood, killing people like crazy. When a confidant falls, a person's heart is broken. A generation of sword kings killed all the heavens, but in the end they were outnumbered, turned into dust, and finally fell. After his death, his will, along with his sword, came to his old friend's palace and was buried here. The shadows and sighs of countless years appeared in Duguyuking's heart. When he held the sword, he understood the secrets of many years. Duguyuking suddenly felt a trace of sadness. When he learned that his best friend had been murdered by the kings of the fairyland, the Sword King of the generation was furious. He drew his sword and fought through the heavens, killing one realm after another. But he couldn't exchange for his soulmate's life, he himself also perished. Even though I am dead, my way has been passed down, and there is still a true sword species in the world. One day, I will carry my sword to kill all the immortal realms and kill all the immortal kings. On top of the broken sword, the last will of a generation of sword kings suddenly sounded softly. Then, the broken sword roared. Duguyuking couldn't help it, raised her hand and broke the sword. He raised his sword as if he wanted to pierce the heavens. Moment. A terrifying sword intent rises into the night, like a terrifying waterfall. This terrifying sword intent directly penetrates the entire heaven and passes through the sea of 10,000 voids. Straight to the fairyland. Like a comet soaring into the sky. One sword broke through the boundary wall of the immortal realm and appeared above the immortal realm. The sword's will spreads across 1,000,000 miles. Among them, the sounds of war shook the heavens. Although I am dead, my way has been preached. There is still a true sword in the world, and one day he will carry my sword. Kill through the immortal realm, behead all the immortal kings. This sword intent rushes into the immortal realm, just to transmit sound. Hand down, the battle sounds of the immortal king of the past generation, the Wuji Sword King. He is dead. However, his way has been inherited by others. In the future, he will kill all the immortal realms and kill all the immortal kings. This day, there was a big shock in the fairyland. Like a huge wave. Fairyland. There is a terrifying fairy palace somewhere, above the vast sea of clouds. When the sword intention appeared above the immortal realm and in the immortal palace, a pair of eyes as terrifying as the sun suddenly opened. How dare you call yourself a real sword breed even though you are just in the lower realm? If I can kill you, I can kill your descendant. Do you really think that when I killed you, I didn't leave any backup plan? The existence of terror suddenly occurred to me. With this thought, cause and effect collapse, Tao begins to transpire, and the immortal realm trembles.